Doug Barker, manager of North Hines Water Association.
I'm Ken Briggs. I'm Chief Operator of the City of Corinth.
I'm Anthony Hall, the operator with Utility Partners.
Jimmy Dale Thomas with the City of Chula. I've been an operator here for a little over 18 years.
Been with the system, and I think you just answered that.
Yes, sir, I did. I've been with the system just a little over 18 years.
18 years. Okay. If you would tell me a little bit about the system, the size of it, the number of connections that you have, and the number of wells and storage tanks and things of that nature.
Okay, sir. We have 2 wells, one located on the north end of town, the other located here behind the City Hall. The well on the north end of town was constructed in 1986. It's 1,200 feet deep. It's a 500 gallon per minute well. The other well, the oldest well we have behind the City Hall, was constructed in 1964. It's a 600 gallon a minute well. It also is 1,240 feet deep. So between the two, we have ample water. We've got 2 tanks. One's a 150,000 gallon tank and the other is a 75,000 gallon tank, both located on the north end of town. You said our connections.
Number of connections.
596 connections, approximately 2,300 in population.
Okay. You don't know about how many miles that is of line that you have throughout the city?
I wouldn't start to know.
Sometimes people don't know. That's good. You good?
Yeah, the city's about a mile long,
okay.
Up and down the highway. So with our north-south lines, I would say we have 10 miles,
okay.
Approximately, or less.
All right. Give me a little description of the treatment process. You know, like use chlorine, fluoride, your process of your water system. We
inject gas, chlorine at both sites, and we have our system set up to inject fluoride. However, the fluoridation is down right now, so I've got to get some units rebuilt to get my fluoride up and going again.
Okay.
What was the date that your system was constructed?
That's a good question. The oldest tank was put down in the 50s, so it's been back in the 50s when the system was created. We had an old, and this is according to those who have gone many years before me, we had an old round concrete tank out back here. That was the water tank back in the 50s and the early 60s. Till they did away with the first old well and built the next oldest well, which is the one out back now. In I believe it was 1964.
When's the last dates of major improvements or expansions?
Between 2013 and 2015, we did a lot. Matter of fact, we rehabbed our tank completely on the north end of town. It was rusting, paint was coming off of it. It looked horrible. And so anyway, we did inside and outside rehab. We put down new valves that had been covered over for millenniums. We got those valves operable again, so we don't have to pump water to the south to get to the north. But that contract concluded in 2015, so we have nothing going on right now other than just general maintenance.
This is my favorite question now. What do you like most about your job?
I love educating people. Excuse me, I do enjoy educating people as far as the water industry is concerned and what we do and how we do. I enjoy, obviously making or pumping good clean water for folks. But the most enjoyment I get is when I have someone say, well, you only pump water out of the ground, or you only have just a little leak, it's not a big leak. It gives me an opportunity to educate on the loss of water and how important it is to stop a little leak, and how those little leaks turn into big leaks. And a lot of folks look at me and say, I never thought of it that way. I never, looked at the fact that that little leak under that type of pressure loses that much water. So I enjoy educating and doing my job, keeping the system safe and sound.
All right, on the opposite end of the spectrum, what aspects do you dislike about your job?
At 2 o'clock in the morning when somebody called me and said we have low water pressure. So that is part of what we do. I mean, you're going to get called out at 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't really like that. But I guess most of all, I like it when my electronics work well. I don't like it when they don't work. So, and that's a fallacy of progress and things wearing out and getting outdated.
Jim Dale, is there anybody particularly you'd like to thank for being nominated for this award?
I would like to thank my mayor. He looked at what I do, and from that nominated me, and I'm without words. You know, I'm just tickled to death that he's an open-minded gentleman. He came into this the mayor's office really trying to upgrade the town, make the town look better. And one of those things was water and sewage, you know, clean streets and picking up of garbage and stuff like that. But he looked at what we do in the water industry here, and he saw fit to nominate me, and I really appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that he looked at what we were doing and didn't just haphazardly do something.
What?
Okay. Mr. Dimon.
Hello, my name is Joe Higginbotham. I work for Diamond Head Water and Sewer District here.
Okay. Joe, once again, thank you for allowing us to be able to come out and interview you on this award. First, tell me how long you've been with your system.
In November 1st, it'll be 13 years.
Okay. 13 years. Okay, and also tell me the size of your location, the number of connections you may have.
The size of Diamond Head is probably about 4 miles square. We have a little over 4,400 connections, water and sewer connections. That's including residential and commercial. We have right now we have 4 wells, deep wells, okay, and one water tank.
All right. Describe the treatment process of your system, chlorine, fluoride, what all you
Yes,
process.
we inject chlorine and fluoride here at our system, and Diamond Head at all 4 of our wells.
Oh, cool.
We've been doing the fluoride system we put in 2007. We started injecting fluoride here.
And the last question, you wouldn't know about how many miles of, did you say that already, how many miles of pipe?
Water line, we probably have close to 90 miles of water line, and probably a little bit more than 100 of sewer and gravity and force main lines.
Do you have any idea when the date of construction and when the system was put into service?
1992.
1992.
Was when the 2 main wells, what we call right now well 1 and well 3, were put in 1992. Also the old treatment plant.
Well, this is probably going to be an easy question, but do you know of the date and any major improvements or expansions that has happened lately?
The last expansion was after Katrina, when we put in our 2 newest wells. Was I think they were 2009 was when they were put in line, commissioned.
All right, now, fun question here. What do you like most about your job?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things I like about my job. The security here, you know, working with people, you know, a steward to the environment. It's, you know, to me it's a win-win situation. You know, I could do, because I handle both sides, water and wastewater, so I can do both of them, you know, and help out all the way around.
Well, in retrospect, what aspects do you dislike most about your job?
Well, you know, my wife told me not to say this, but the thing I dislike most is the politics. But you know, that's everywhere. So that's gonna be, you know, one of the things I think everybody who's going to work in the water and sewer district is going to have to deal with. I try to stay out of that as much as I can and just, work with the men here. And we have a great group of guys that work here now.
Is there anybody you would like to recognize for appointing you for this
Yeah,
nomination?
I'd like to thank Miss Nancy DePrio, who was our previous general manager, for nominating me for this. And I'd also like to thank my commissioners on the board, the past and present. I mean, because those commissioners hired me, almost 13 years ago and gave me an opportunity to get into this business. And the commissioners now are keeping me in this business. So.
What does this nomination mean to you as an operator?
Well, it means a lot. I'm very humble. I'm not a man for awards. I don't do it for awards or for a pat on the back. I do it because this is my career and this is what I enjoy doing. It's a good future for me.
And this is kind of what you said a while ago, but is there anything that you especially like about working in the water and the wastewater, because you are in both?
Yeah, just being a steward to the environment, steward to the people. Here in Diamond, I love working with this group of guys. Like I said, I can't emphasize enough about what a good team we have here. My new general manager, we tell them all the time, we have a great group of guys that work here. And if it wouldn't be for them, I probably wouldn't be sitting here. But so they deserve most of this too, not just me.
Is there a message you'd like to share with the other operators? And I always throw this in, especially some of our young guys that may be coming in.
Just hang with it. You just hang with it. I mean, we have young guys that come here and they want the money. The money. Well, it's not all about the money at that time, I mean, this is a great career. And that's all, another thing is this career, and no offense, it's getting older. The operators are getting older. So we need younger people to start stepping up and taking, some initiative to get into this business, to do the same thing that we're doing, as operators. And we need that. And that's all over the country, I believe. It's all over.
My name is Billy Williams. I'm with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for 40 years.
I do. Tell me a little bit more about the system, about your system.
Okay. Here at Sardis, as I said, we've got 7 water well systems. Our big one is at Lower Lake Well. It's on the south end of the dam. That well was completed in 2005. That well is 300 foot deep. It's in the Meridian Lower Mwpcoa aquifer. That well has an 8-inch casing, 8-inch stainless steel screen. It has a 4-inch pipe that comes up, steel pipe goes into the tank, the water storage tank. The water storage tank is a 20,000 gallon hydro-pneumatic pressure tank. It's a big tank. It was brand new, put in a year right after the well was completed. We have a 4-inch discharge line that comes out of the well tank. We treat soda ash on this well for a pH adjustment. We have a 600 gallon poly plastic tank, and we have a ratio of 100 gallons to a 50-pound sack of soda ash. So if you've got 600 gallons of water, 6 bags of soda ash to make that pH adjustment. We have a plastic chlorine tank, because we treat our disinfectant with sodium hypochlorite. And the reason we do that, we had gas back in the 70s, and I used chlorine gas at that time. But here at Sardis decided unsafe to use gas. They thought it would be a good idea for safety of the employees. Let's go with sodium hypochlorite. And I said, great, I totally agree with it. And his worked well. But we have a poly tank that we pump sodium hypochlorite straight into that tank. And I've been around a lot of operators, and I enjoy the trainings that I go to put on by the Mississippi Water Pollution Control Operators Association. We're so blessed to have that, the good training that we get from them. And when I go to these trainings, I talk to a lot of operators, and I enjoy that. I learn from other operators. And as we talk and I hear what they got to say, I hear a lot of things that's the same problem that we have here. We're so short-handed. I can't get this job done. I don't know what I'm going to do because I just don't have enough help. But even though we're short-handed here, I'm so blessed to have my supervisor, Carter Brandon, who has his water treatment plant operator license. He has his water well license also. And when I need help, he will get in the trenches with me. And that's such a blessing. That's such a blessing. He understands what I'm doing, and he jumps in and helps me. And also, I have an equipment operator and a maintenance mechanic, another position here at Sardis Lake. These two guys, Chester Ayers and Dwayne Franklin, they also said, hey, I want to go get my license. And years ago, they went and got their wastewater license, got their drinking water, water well license. And they also, when I need help, they're right hand. They're right there with me. So even though we're short-handed, thank the Lord, I have some good backup help.
Is there anyone in particular you would like to thank for nominating you for this award?
Yes, sir. First of all, most important, my God and Father in heaven, because I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Him. He's blessed me tremendously through the years. 40 years, as I said. I've been here 40 years doing this job. I love it. But He's blessed me through the trials and tribulations, not only of life, but the trials and tribulations in the workplace. And I couldn't do it without Him. But I'm so thankful for the way He has blessed me tremendously. Like I said, I'm sitting here today, and I know it's from Him. And I give Him the praise and honor. And I also want to thank my wife, my understanding wife, bless her heart. Many times that we've been together, maybe out eating somewhere, and I get a phone call. I got a water leak. Baby, I'm sorry. We pick up. She's been so understandable about that. And been in the flower bed working with her, putting flowers out. Get a call. I have to get up and go. But that's an operator. That's her job. And she's been very, very supportive of that. And I thank God for that. Thank you, baby. But I also want to thank Carter Brennan, my immediate supervisor, who, as I said, he's been there. He's been there. He's a big, tremendous help to me. He understands what I'm doing. He understands the job. He understands what's got to take place to keep the wells going, to keep the distribution lines going, the treatment plants. And if I'm in a hole with a shovel and I need some help, he'll come off in there. Office closed or not, it doesn't matter. And my other two guys, Chester Ayers and Dwayne Franklin, and I've got a big crew of guys that they're willing to help. And Alton Paul, my immediate main supervisor who y'all met earlier. Alton started years ago from the bottom up, and he's been here a long time also. But he's the same way. If I need help in that ditch, he'll crawl in there. Even though that's not his job, that's not his responsibility. But he will help me any way possible.
What does this nomination mean to you, individually?
This nomination means it's an honor, as I said. It's an honor from the Lord. I give Him honor, glory, and praise. I can't tell Him enough. But, you know, I've been around, like I said earlier, a lot of operators, mingled with a lot of operators, and just being friends with these operators has just helped me tremendously. And being a servant is such a blessing. To go out, as I said earlier, and when I got campers out there in the campground, and they have a restroom go down, the water busting in the restroom, and going out there and fixing that, and repairing it for them, and one of them comes up and says, I appreciate that. Thank you a lot. We're not shut down. We'll continue on. And that means a lot, being that servant.
I'm Josh Hathcock with the Town of Smithville Water Department.
Let's get started, Josh. Glad to be here and interview you. I got a few questions we're going to ask you, and we'll go. You already did the introduction of yourself. How long, the years, the system been online?
Our town plant, it was built in about the 1960s, the original plant, and in about 1980 they upgraded and built a new plant, and then we've got a rural plant, and it was built in 2002.
Okay. And if you would, just tell us a little bit more about your overall system, as, you know, how many people, you know, it serves, I mean, connections, number of wells, storage tanks, and number of lines that you have.
We've got about 650 to 700 kind of varying month to month, including rural and town on the connections. In town, we've got 3 water wells. In our rural system, we've only got 2. We can run everything out of the rural system if we have to. If we have a problem in town, we can shut it down. Run everything from rural. We've got a generator up there, and it'll serve the whole system.
Well, how many miles of line?
I wouldn't have any idea what miles of line is.
Give us a little description about the process that would have, what are your water system process?
This town plant, it's got a lot of iron in it. We use chlorine and lime in it. And the rural water system, it's a lot better, nearly pure water. We just use chlorine and soda ash up there for corrosion control. It's really a corrosion control plant. On the tanks, you was asking about the tanks. We've got a 75,000 gallon tank here in town. In the rural system, we've got a 20,000 gallon storage tank, a 100,000 gallon storage tank, and a 50,000 gallon standpipe.
What was the date, I think you touched on some of this, where they were constructed and put into service?
It was in 2002. I don't know the exact date of it. That was before I came here.
And I guess that would also consider some of the dates of the major improvements. I know you had a...
We had the tornado in 2011. There was a few things around with this town plant that we got a new vent in the top of the tank and had some work done to the tank. It suffered a little structural damage. In 2009, we had some upgrades done out of our water plant. Got a new set of stairs. The others that was there was nearly straight up and dangerous, trying to tote bags of lime up and down and stuff like that. And got a safety structure put around the aerator for working on it.
All right, here's one of the most important questions.
All right.
What do you like most about your job?
I like being able to serve the community, and I love Smithville. It's where I've been my whole life, and I like being able to serve the community and just help people any way that I can. I like coming into work here every day. Is something different. You never know what you're going to be doing. There's always something comes up, something tears up, or something like that. And it's not just a job you go to every day. It's the same thing day after day. It's everything changes day to day.
In retrospect, what are some of the aspects you dislike about your job?
I don't like it when anything's messed up. I like for everything to be perfect, but that's not going to happen. Anything's out of whack just a little bit, I worry myself to death about it till I try to get it fixed. Then you got the holidays, and you know if it's a holiday, you're going to get called in to work for something. Something's going to break, bust, or tear up or something on a holiday. It happens every time, but that's just part of the job.
Is there any person or any individual you'd like to recognize for nominating you for this award?
Kim Johnson, our town clerk. It's an honor that she thinks enough of me to take her time to nominate me for it.
What does this nomination mean to you?
It's just truly an honor. Like I said, I just can't believe somebody think that much of me to take their time to to nominate me for it. I do the best I can, and always strive to make the best quality water that we can.
You've kind of answered this question, but we'll ask it again. Is there anything that that you especially like about your work in doing the water work in the water business?
Just being able to help the community and serve the best water that we can to them, keep the water flowing.
Is there a message you would like to tell others in this business? Anything you would like to tell them that you might have experienced?
Well, there's always, I never hesitate to call somebody if I've got a problem and don't know what to do, because usually if there's something out there, somebody else has experienced the same problem, can help you and tell you what to do. And I just, if there's something out there I don't know, I'll call somebody and ask them. If you call around, there's somebody somewhere that can give you an answer and give you some advice and help you out.
Is there any additional comments you would like to make before we move on to the next part?
Again, I just like to say it's just truly an honor to be nominated for this.
And one other question I forgot to ask you. How long have you been working with the city of Smithville?
I've been here for 12 and a half years full-time, and I had a couple years part-time before that. I didn't really get into the water side of it until after the tornado. The designated operator, he retired, and it kind of all fell on me. I mean, I had done stuff before then, but it really all got put on me then. So